we forget that humans, we really are living in somewhat of an evolutionary mismatch. Humans are wired to move.
That's great. I mean, great insights, obviously tons of experience here, and really interesting to know that. One of the other things you talked about is the role of exercise, and you call it a non-negotiable during this program. So explain to us why movement is so critical to the success of this reset program, Lee.
Movement is critical in life. I think that movement, we forget that humans, we really are living in somewhat of an evolutionary mismatch. Humans are wired to move. If you take a look at some of these anthropological studies that are done on more primitive societies, the healthiest people are on the move. Even, in the our hunter-gatherer roots, people were walking. You have any idea what an average walk day would have been for a hunter-gatherer society? Just take a guess.
I'd guess 5 to 10 miles.
So it's 8 to 10 miles daily, right? The way that we translate that into more modern lingo, right? Because we tend to consolidate everything into a step count, right? It's roughly 20,000 steps daily, 18 to 20,000 steps daily. So what does the average American get? Somebody with a desk job gets somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 steps a day. Sedentary behavior, I would categorize as anything below 3,000 steps. Active people are somewhere around, 7 to 10,000 steps. You have to make an effort to get 10,000 steps daily. So movement influences absolutely everything, right? Not just our physicality, but also mood, metabolism. Sedentary behavior is also an inflammatory state, promotes an inflammatory state. And so I start people off, for the most part, I would say, again, it depends on where you are in terms of movement. There are plenty of people that I work with who have a lifestyle that's more like veal. They're confined. I was working with somebody, I started about a year ago, a young woman who was 80 pounds overweight, had real cardiovascular issues, who told me she gets 500 to 600 steps a day. I said, wow, you'd have to make an effort almost to be that sedentary. So what I started with her was, I said, I want you to text me your steps every single day, and we're going to increase that count by 250 steps daily. Okay, today, she's still texting me that step count. She's now up to 15 to 18,000 steps a day. This is also an example of this accountability piece, right? When you know that somebody's paying attention to you, somebody's invested in your outcome, we tend to rise to that occasion. So movement to me, is an absolute. Now, it doesn't have to be heroic forms of movement. I do like weight training, resistance training quite a bit because of how it feeds muscle mass, but I'm also okay with lots of, non-heroic forms of movement, just keeping the body in motion. We also know in the field of clinical nutrition that when we move, we make better decisions with food. Helps us to work out anxiety. Depression oftentimes is alleviated. So there's just a wide variety of benefits to movement, to regular movement.
That was a great summary. I couldn't agree more. I think, you touched on so many points from an evolutionary biology perspective. Humans really bipedal meant to walk, and that's the basis of our existence. That's what allowed us as species to evolve to where we are today. And we definitely we were never used to having unlimited sources of energy in the form of ultra-processed food. So, add that to the mix and it's a problem. And your obesity example is also really interesting. While it highlights the fact about needing accountability, and it's amazing, there are true medical issues that need to be managed in such patients too. And that's where the collaboration between the medical team and the nutrition rehabilitation team is so important. I have also witnessed the great benefits that occur once you unleash this healing potential that exists really in each and every one of us. And with the expertise that you bring to the table, I really feel that our patients can benefit if they embrace the program. The way you've laid it out, it's so thoughtful, it's been worked out, it's been reiterated, it's been improved upon with every iteration, and that's what makes it so unique.